The first thing I heard was the crunch, metal biting metal, cutting through the steady roar of my tractor like a gunshot. It was late afternoon, that golden hour when the corn leaves glow and the air smells like dust and diesel. I'd been running the combine since sunrise, muscles on autopilot, eyes tracking the rows like I'd done every fall since I was 16. The field bordered a newer subdivision. Cookie-cutter houses, decorative rocks where dirt used to be. An HOA sprouted there a few years back, like a weed no one asked for. I eased the tractor along the access lane, header folded, moving slow. That's when a white Lexus lunged forward from a side street like it had something to prove. Crunch. The Lexus clipped my rear tire guard and scraped along the tractor frame, paint squealing. I slammed the brakes. Corn dust hung in the air, settling like snow. The driver's door flew open. She stepped out wearing oversized sunglasses, athleisure armor, phone already in hand. HOA Karen in the flesh. "Are you insane?" she shouted, marching toward me. "You can't drive that thing here!" I climbed down slow, heart pounding but face neutral. "Ma'am, this is an agricultural access road. I've been using it for—" "You people always say that," she snapped. "You damaged my car." I looked at her Lexus, a long white scrape. Then I looked at my tractor. Not a dent. It was like blaming a brick wall for scratching your nail. "You pulled into me," I said evenly. She laughed, sharp, humorless. "Oh, I'm calling the police. And the HOA. You're not even allowed to harvest this late. There are noise rules." The combine idled behind me, sun dipping low, corn still standing. Harvest waits for no one, especially not someone angry about a car meeting farm equipment. She raised her phone, narrating already. "There's a man with a tractor threatening me." Threatening her, I hadn't moved an inch. As she turned away, sirens wailed faintly in the distance. Or maybe it was just the blood rushing in my ears. Either way, I knew this wasn't ending with an apology. It was just beginning. The sirens were real. Red and blue flashed against the corn like a bad omen, washing the field in color as a patrol car rolled up behind the combine. Karen stood by her Lexus with her arms crossed, chin lifted, already wearing the expression of someone who believed justice had arrived early, and exclusively for her. I wiped my hands on my jeans and waited. The officer stepped out slow, hand resting near his belt, eyes bouncing between my tractor and her car. "Afternoon," he said. "We got a call about a vehicle collision and intimidation." Karen jumped in before I could open my mouth. "He came barreling down this road like he owned it," she said, voice trembling just enough to sound practiced. I honked, and he just kept coming. I was terrified. I stared at the ground for a second, collecting myself. "Officer," I said, "this is a farm access road." I was moving under 5 miles an hour. She pulled out without looking. The officer nodded, scribbling. "License and registration?" Karen smirked as I handed mine over. Then the second cruiser arrived, and then a third. Neighbors started gathering, phones out, murmurs buzzing. I recognized a few HOA board members by their matching polos and judgmental posture. One of them whispered loudly, "I told you these farm vehicles are dangerous." The officer walked the scene, inspecting tire marks, the angle of impact. He ran his hand along the tractor's side, then crouched near the Lexus. "Ma'am," he said finally, "your vehicle appears to have sideswiped stationary equipment." Her smile faltered. "Stationary?" "Yes. And this road," he added, standing, "is zoned for agricultural use." Karen's face reddened. "That can't be right. Our HOA doesn't override county zoning," he cut in gently. She spun toward me. "You planned this. You farmers always do." That's when a man I didn't recognize stepped forward. Pressed khakis, HOA badge clipped to his belt. "Officer, this man has been violating noise ordinances all week, harvesting past sunset." The officer sighed. "Harvest is exempt." The HOA guy frowned. "Well, we'll be filing a formal complaint." Karen's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, then smiled again. Slow, confident. "Good. Because this isn't over. I just spoke to our HOA attorney." The officer handed me my license back. "You're free to go, but," he added quietly, "I'd document everything." I climbed back into the tractor, heart still racing. As I started the engine, I saw Karen watching me, already plotting her next move, and I knew she wouldn't stop at complaints. The letter arrived 3 days later, folded crisp and smug inside a manila envelope taped to my mailbox like a warning sign. I hadn't even shut the tractor off when I saw it. Notice of violation. Bold letters, HOA letterhead. Legal language thick enough to choke on. I sat at the kitchen table that night, corn dust still in my hair, reading it line by line while my coffee went cold. They cited noise disturbances, unauthorized road use, environmental concerns, and, my favorite, reckless endangerment of residents. They were fining me $500 per incident. Per incident. I laughed once, just once. Then the weight of it settled in my chest. The next morning, I found stakes in my field. Bright orange, pounded right along the property line. Except they weren't on the line. They were 10 feet into my corn. Someone had tied pink ribbon between them, fluttering like mockery. I killed the engine and stood there, listening to the wind roll through the stalks. Then I saw Karen at the edge of the subdivision path, arms folded, sunglasses on again, same ones. "You can't cross that boundary," she called out. "HOA property." "That's my land," I said, keeping my voice level. She smiled. "According to our survey, it's not." I knew that was a lie. My grandfather had walked that line with the county assessor decades ago. Still, lies sound confident when backed by paperwork. By noon, an HOA contractor showed up with a clipboard and a tape measure, acting like I didn't exist. By dusk, another notice was taped to my barn door. "Cease and desist agricultural activity pending review." Pending review. Harvest doesn't pause for reviews. Corn rots. Weather turns. Banks don't care about HOA drama. That night, I dug out the old filing cabinet in the basement. Yellowed deeds, survey maps, handwritten notes in my grandfather's blocky script. Proof stacked inch by inch. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "This could all go away if you'd just cooperate." No signature, no emoji, just a threat dressed up as advice. I looked out the window at the field, moonlight catching the tops of the corn. Tomorrow was supposed to be the biggest harvest day of the season, and I had a feeling they were planning something to stop it. The morning of the harvest dawned cold and sharp. The kind of air that wakes you up before the coffee does. I was halfway through my first row when the rumble of engines reached me. Not tractors, SUVs, a line of them. Black, white, shiny, HOA logos on the doors like badges of authority they hadn't earned. I shut down the combine and climbed out. Karen stepped forward first, clipboard in hand this time, flanked by 2 HOA board members and a county-looking inspector I'd never seen before. She looked almost giddy, like a kid on the first day of school. "You were notified," she said. "Cease and desist." "I was notified of nonsense," I replied. The inspector cleared his throat. "Sir, we received a complaint regarding encroachment onto HOA-managed land and violations of local ordinances." I reached into my jacket and handed him a folded map, laminated, edges worn. "County survey? Filed in '94. Property lines right here." Karen scoffed. "That's outdated." The inspector studied it, then asked for the HOA's survey. They handed over a glossy, freshly printed diagram. No county stamp. No signatures. He frowned. That's when Karen lost patience. "This is harassment," she snapped. "He's intimidating us with machinery." She stepped closer to the combine as she said it. Too close. "Ma'am," I said, "you should back up." She didn't. Instead, she slapped the side of the combine with her palm. "See? Threatening." Then, like she forgot physics existed, she stepped backward, heel catching on a corn rut, and stumbled straight into the header guard. Thunk! Not hard, but enough. She screamed. "Assault! He hit me!" Phones were up instantly. HOA members shouting. The inspector backing away. Someone called 911 again. I stood there, hands visible, heart hammering. The machine hadn't moved. The engine wasn't even on. Police arrived fast this time. Karen was already crying when they got there. Mascara streaked just enough to sell it. "He rammed me," she sobbed. "I told him to stop." I opened my mouth, then closed it. Instead, I pointed silently to the combine's dash. The officer followed my finger. Key out. Engine cold. Hour meter unchanged. Then another officer spoke up. "We also have drone footage." Karen froze. "Drone?" A neighbor from the subdivision stepped forward, phone in hand. "I was filming the harvest. Got the whole thing." The video played. Silence followed. Karen's face drained of color as the truth hung in the air. Clear, undeniable, recorded. And that's when the officers turned to her. The field was so quiet I could hear the corn leaves scraping together in the breeze. The officer lowered the phone after watching the video all the way through. No rewinding, no arguing. Just a long exhale before he turned to Karen. "Ma'am," he said, voice flat. "You made a false report." Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. I was scared. The second officer shook his head. "You approached stationary equipment. You struck it. And then you claimed assault." One of the HOA board members quietly stepped back, suddenly fascinated by the ground. Karen's confidence collapsed in real time. Her shoulders sagged, clipboard slipping from her fingers. "This is ridiculous," she muttered. I was just trying to protect our community. The inspector cleared his throat. Your survey is invalid. County records confirm the farmer's boundary. You've been encroaching. That landed harder than any fine ever could. Karen was issued a citation. Not arrest level, but enough to sting. False report. Interference with agricultural operations. The words sounded heavy, official, earned. The officers apologized to me. One of them even asked about the harvest. Looks like you're behind schedule, he said. Weather waits for no one, I replied. The HOA SUVs left one by one, their authority deflating with every turn of the tires. Karen was last. She didn't look at me as she got into her Lexus, the white scrape still there like a reminder. That afternoon I finished the row. The sun dipped low again, just like it had the first day. Only this time, the engine noise felt earned, uninterrupted. No clipboards, no shouting. Just the steady rhythm of harvest. A week later, the HOA notices stopped. The fines disappeared. A formal apology arrived instead. Typed, impersonal, but real enough. Karen resigned from the board, for personal reasons. Sometimes, when I pass that subdivision, I see new signs posted. Agricultural area, expect farm traffic. They didn't put them up for me. They put them up because they learned the hard way that farms don't bend to entitlement. And truth has a way of showing up when cameras are rolling and lies get loud. The corn came in strong that year, and every time the combine hums I remember, you can call the police on a farmer, but you can't argue with the land. If this story hit home, tap like. Because backing everyday people who refuse to be pushed around matters. Subscribe to Karen Files so you never miss real justice playing out in real life. And let me know in the comments, when they crossed the line, what would you have done?